Hello, everyone. My name is Tommy Huff, and I am going to go ahead and do this video section here to this assignment. Um, Hopefully, it doesn't go too much over the time for it. It says 3 to 5 minutes. Hopefully, and I'm known to talk. And so I'm going to try really hard to get this thing going and to have it. So the first question here, and I'm just going to kind of paraphrase here. What's the special education teacher's role in supporting learning, improving planning, and practicing upholding professional expectations? Um, I mean, and there's a little bit more to it, but just and essentially, so what is their role in it? Well, everything. I mean, their role is really there's everything to it. I am, and maybe it's cheating just a little bit here, but I am currently, as I'm doing this master's, am a first year teacher, so I get the best of both worlds here. And I'm looking at these and saying, so what is my current role in supporting the learning, improving the planning, and the practice here, and upholding professional expectation and ethics. And it's seriously, it's all of them. I work as a teacher for an adult transition program. So my students are just out of high school, and I'm the teacher for 18 to 21. And we are trying to teach them that you're not in school anymore and welcome to real life. How can you, the best that you can, adapt yourself into a real life setting? So we have a lot of job sites. We have a lot of how to cook certain things. We don't do as much with math or anything. I mean, and maybe when it comes to how to finance and how to budget, how much is something going to cost. And so, with that being said, I am looking at this here, and a lot of these students are going into brand new things, and some of them are have not have ever had to have a job opportunity. Even though it's not a 9 to 5 job, 5 days a week. Some of these jobs are you work 1 day a week for X amount of hours and that's it. But it's my job to support them in all of these things, and it's my job to give them the chances and the opportunities to go ahead and to learn these things and to give them the tools for it. I'm looking at the thing here, and that's why I have my eyes down because I'm trying to read what it says here. But supporting learning, well, it's my job to give them the tools to learn. I'm a teacher here. It's my job to teach, improving and trying to plan. Definitely a self advocacy. There we go. Self advocacy is definitely important, but it's a special education teacher's job to help them to help themselves. And I can't, especially with the group that I have. I only have them for X amount of years, and then they're done. And I hope that I could do a good enough job as a teacher that I could go ahead and get them to be at least a little further on here. And the last one here is and practice. Well, if it's my job to put them into roles to go ahead and practice in. If I'm trying to teach how to finance your money and you never get to use any of your money, well, then I'm not doing a very good job as a teacher. I need to make sure that they are they are going to a store, they're going to a restaurant. If there's, again, if I'm teaching a younger group of kids, I'm teaching, someone in a like elementary school here. Well, then it's my job to set up things that, oh, hey, you might use this opportunity to understand what is being taught, and you can go ahead and try and practice it. The second one here, and I'm going to go ahead and change a few words here. What attitudes do you currently possess will help you become a successful teacher? And what attitudes do you need to work on before you can enter the uh, what attitudes do you need to work on before you become a first year teacher? So yeah, what do I currently have and what do I have to work on? Well, the thing that I have, and I kind of even pride myself on it. I'm an easygoing guy, and I think that this is kind of one of these jobs that you have to do it. Now, I'm not saying easygoing guy as in let people walk over you, but easygoing guy as in, you need to understand, especially in the role of special education, we're not in a race. We're not here to do this as fast as we can, and a lot of the students will take a long time. We are not here to rush anybody, and whether that's having to use the bathroom, whether that means eating food, whether it's doing some schoolwork that I give them, that's totally fine. And I am easy going with it. Now, of course, with that being said, as long as there is an effort being made with it, and I feel I'll get to that in my third question for it, and I will get to that. But you know, I have been gifted, or dare I say, even blessed with a bunch of patience, and I'm sure you're going to have to hear me say that in all of our other groups and topics. That patience, patience, patience. That's what you have to have for this job here. If you're expecting to if you're expecting to going into the job and you don't have it, this might not be the job for you. But the other side of the story here is what kind of attitude do I need to improve on? Or well, I think the one that and especially because the question here says as a first year teacher. Well, again, I'm currently as a first year teacher, and I want to make sure, and this is not just for my second year or first year. I know this is all of my years. Is that I want to make sure that I want to make sure that I have the attitude of this is a forever changing group here. I'm never going to have the same students. I'm never going to have the same cases. Everyone's different. Everyone does things differently. Um, and that first question, I'm going to go ahead and bounce back for just a minute here, but it says, as a special education, how can you support improving? Well, I need to make sure I am supporting improving in myself too, and I need to have a attitude of I need to strive to encourage myself to help everyone here, and not just say, oh well, this reminds me of 2023 when I had this student here and they did it this way, and so I can use this past student's um, how they did things to a student that's similar. Well, that's not how it works. So I have to have a continual attitude of being able to adjust, being able to learn, being able to adapt to certain things, and to go from that point. And the very last question here is what effect could personal bias have on expectation that teachers have for their students, and how could these bias affect the relationship with students and families? I mean, there are definitely things that I expect, currently, even as a teacher now. And again, in kind of what I said in question two, this is going to be different every single year. I know that, this is going to be up and down. That's just how this job is. But because, and I'm just going to use me for a example here, because I am doing an adult transition, I expect the students to do their part. I don't have to do all the work. They don't have to, but we're trying to teach them to be as independent as they can be. And so I expect that, hey, if your job is to wipe down the table after we eat, I expect you to go ahead and do it. And that might be maybe a bias of me that you should be able to do your job. And now, again, I totally understand the group here, and maybe their version of the job is a not a very thorough version of the job, but it's one that it's still they're doing it at their own pace for. But then with that second part of the question, how could these bias affect the relationship with students and families? Well, I do things differently. I have a different mindset, but so does everybody else. And so I certainly hope that they wouldn't be. And I hope that I would have enough of a mindset that I would say, okay, you guys want me to teach your child a different way. Well, how would you like that to be done? And can we meet somewhere and figure out some sort of way for it? I do things very differently. I might talk to someone a certain way. I might have a certain type of form of speech. That someone might not necessarily agree with. And I think that as long as you're willing to be able to move past yourself and for the betterment of the student and the family and listen to what they have to say, then I think that's ultimately going to be your best bet for it. Um, so I know that went over a little bit more than the 5 minutes. I mean, I'm like way over for it. So hopefully that's okay. Hopefully that this was educational to someone of the sort, and I'm sure I'll have other one of these, and I will see you next time.